Plato urges us all to be philosophers who cultivate our self-control and then reduce our emotions. And he told us that if a man succeeds in doing this, then he will be reborn into the next life, not on this earth, but back up in heaven. And if he fails to develop self-control, then he'll be reborn as a woman. So
Oh my God!
That's what the Greeks thought about reason and emotion.
Right.
But I think David Hume got it much more correct. David Hume, the 18th century Scottish philosopher, he said reason is and ought only to be the slave of the passions and can never pretend to any other office than to serve and obey them. And I got to say, as a psychologist, there are exceptions to that. Of course, we can think rationally about some things, but things that engage our emotions, politics, morality, all these sorts of things, the feelings come first, and then we don't set our reasoning doesn't go out and say, well, what's true? Our reasoning is given instructions. Those instructions are find evidence for what we want to believe. And you go out, you look for evidence, you almost always find it. Sometimes you don't. You say, boss, I couldn't find anything. We got to change our mind on this. But usually you find something.
Right.
And this is why, Americans can argue. There's recent findings about, the NSA, all the spying going on. Well, Democrats actually support it, the majority. Whereas when the Bush administration was doing it, and it was a more severe program and it was less legally justified, but you had a massive flip because both sides are saying, if you like Obama, you'll say, well, is this okay? Is this justifiable? And you can find justifications that you say, okay, I got it, it's justified. But when it's the other guy doing it, you say, must I believe it's justified? And no, I don't have to believe it. You find some other argument. So our reasoning is really more like a servant than it is like Plato's charioteer.
Well, isn't the key then realizing that that's true about you, right? And approaching your own reasoning and all of that sort of stuff with a certain skepticism and checking in with what's your emotional state and.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's right. That gives you a lot more humility, what you might call epistemic humility, that is about knowledge. You don't know everything, and you're overconfident in what you think you know. But even more important than understanding yourself, I think it really helps you understand others. Sometimes people will say things. I mean, this is so important in marriage. Your spouse will say something, and if you take it literally and seriously, you'd say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you said that," and this is grounds for divorce. But if you understand where people are coming from and that they're speaking, they're saying things based on what they're feeling at the moment, and if you try to empathize, you can understand those feelings, you can become a lot more forgiving.